I really enjoyed it. It was a good thing to do, and there were a lot of young people that had horses. But my sons rode, and I think it's a good thing to teach them and so forth. And seeing the labels up here on the wall remind me of one thing about Lakeview. Whenever there was a freeze or a threat of a freeze, Ms. Creton would always let so many seniors out so that they could help fire the grove. And as a result of that, then you didn't have to go to school next day. Of course, you got paid for doing that at night too. That just one thing that popped in my mind when I saw those fruit labels there. It's quite an experience. I was in the Scouts in Winter Garden. They had a good troop, except we lost our well, when I say lost, you know, I understand it more now. When the scoutmaster, you know, a job or something else is more demanding, and so the troop sort of just dismantled. And then I forgot about it, but for years I kept seeing this local troop sponsored by the Methodist Church, North Greeley, sponsored by the Presbyterian Church. But anyway, I kept seeing this number 210. And I said, that wasn't our number, you know. And then I was beginning to say, well, maybe it was, and I just forgot it. Till one day I volunteered for the museum. So there wasn't anybody in there, so I started walking around, and I walked over. They have a little area there for the scout thing. It's not big, but I looked at the sheet of paper, and what did it have on there? Troop number 46. Had these names on there of people that you know, that I'd known, and so I guess sometimes down the line that somebody, you know, they had to change it or some way, but it sort of helps you your memory a little bit when you see something that substantiates whatever you thought it was. It was. You mentioned Orlando. When I was growing up, going to Orlando was sort of a special event. You just didn't go every day, you know, and I had an aunt that lived here in Winter Garden, and she liked to go over and shop, and she'd always let me go with her. And going in on the old road, you know, came in on Washington Street in Orlando. And one of the favorite treats over there was, I think it was Woolworth Dime Store, but in the summertime it was air conditioned, and you could always get a Coke and a sandwich for about 20 cents or 25. It wasn't much, so she always treated me to something when we went in there. But I remember that, and so it was quite interesting. A group of us rode our horses to Orlando one time. I don't think it started out that way, you know. It started out in the morning. There was some kids that lived over in Ocoee too, so we said, well, we'll ride over and meet you. Then we kept going, and this was before Highway 50. And we ended up on the South Orange Blossom Trail. And we got a hamburger, and I guess it's about 2 o'clock, so we decided we better start headed back, you know, to Ocoee at least anyway. So we got back, it was about dark. But it was a nice trip, and so if you like to ride, so it was nice. I mentioned the scouting business. We used to camp a lot. Our scoutmaster took us, and we could, as we got older, we could go out on our own. Where Kelso is located now was nothing but woods. And a friend of mine and I had a kayak, and if we could yeah, I forgot who it was now. Anyway, there's a lady that lived on the cove out at Lake Butler. And she would let us put the kayak in there. And we would paddle across the cove and get over to where Kelso is now. And you could paddle around, and you came to a rather steep embankment. It was all white sand. And we used to camp out there for 3 or 4 days until we ran out of something to eat. And if you couldn't catch any fish, then you just backed up and went home. But that was rather an interesting experience too. So life was good back in those times. Things were probably not as prosperous as far as money or material things, but at least if there's an old saying that if you don't know you're poor, you're not poor. So I never worried about it. I was always taken care of, so that was very fortunate. The Methodist Church in Winter Garden is I remember when they built that church. The original church faced, was a wooden structure, and it faced North Boyd Street. It was right across the street from where Dr. Gleason's office used to be, right there on the corner. And they had 3 rooms that they had developed or used as Sunday school rooms. They were all wooden. And I don't remember when that church was built. I mean, the original one there, but the other one, the brick church, it's very, very nice. I remember them putting in the back stained glass window just as a kid. I guess I was maybe about 12 years old. So Dr. I think his name was Schuler. I want to say Peel, but I'm not sure. Anyway, he was the minister there. And of course, as you look back upon that, I wasn't a member of that church at that time, but where the kids went was what church had the best youth program. That's always, been the way that it worked. So they were, I guess they were number 1 on the list back in that time. And then of course the Baptist church here, and but I ended up being a Presbyterian. So I've enjoyed that. So it's where I live in Oakland is a very quaint. Well, it isn't as quaint as it used to be. The West Orange Trail is what really opened up Oakland. People didn't even know Oakland existed. I can remember going into with my wife when she'd go buy kids clothes with Sam and Will. We had an account at Dillard's out in Winter Park, and several times when she handed them the card, they would look at it and they'd say, "Well, where is Oakland?" And she'd sort of laugh, and she would finally tell them. But after the trail opened up, then people began to find it, and that's one of the things that really developed. But we have a nice community. We have a very nice community, and it's not without its problems, but they're not insurmountable. And it's a very nice place to live. It's a very nice place to raise children. So is Winter Garden. And so this area, I think, is very good for families. So it's, I think the Winter Garden, and of course this whole western section, when the boom busted, everybody everything slowed down, and it's bound to happen, and so consequently, but maybe we should be thankful it's not any worse than what it was when we started. So that sort of summarizes it the best I can think of.
And what do you think the future holds for West Orange County?
I think it's good. There's a lots of things that could happen. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think it would be a mistake if it happened overnight. I mean, when we look at our total economy through the United States and some of the problems we're having right now, I think these things on the national level have got to, come to a balance somewhere. But I think that, I think Winter Garden has a lot going for it. I think one of the best things Winter Garden, well, there's more than one thing they've done. But I don't know exactly what they name it, but the little thing down there for the water, where it goes up like a fountain and the kids get out there.
Splash Park.
What do they call it?
Splash Park.
Okay, it's very good, that you see kids there in the summertime all of the time. That's been good. The farmer's market has been good. The park there within itself has been good. Look at the restaurants we've got. And so I think this has been good leadership, good management. Winter Garden, from what I've read in the paper, is not, I'm sure they have their financial problems, but they're not like a lot of other places that, really got caught with unsurmountable debt, and consequently they're not, I don't believe they'll go. I think that in time you will see Winter Garden slowly and progressively do very well. I think you'll see West Orange County. There's a lot of property on Highway 50